Rockabilly fans, it's your old pal Steve. I hope you're doing just totally amazing. This is a really cool rockabilly guitar lesson. It's about rhythm rockabilly guitar. So if you're a rhythm player or you just want to jam on the lower notes, mostly with some chords mixed in, this is the lesson for you. It's got a bunch of different options. I've got a bunch of different varieties here. So you can just mix and match and play around, and you'll be able to build these great rhythm sections for whoever's soloing on top of you or whoever's singing. I'm sure you're gonna love it. I guarantee your money back if you don't. All right, so check out the free jam track at the end and check out all of my rockabilly guitar jam tracks at, where is it? I forgot, patreon.com/rockabillyjam. All right, I'm just gonna quit yapping. I'm just gonna cut the crap and we're gonna get right to the lesson. Here we go. All right, for this lesson, I'm here in E major, but everything is transferable. So we'll be playing in E, but you can bring it up to G, or even C, or anywhere else on the fretboard. So I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. So the first part right here is just that classic little bluesy kind of deal with the rockabilly rhythm. It's one of the first things I ever learned on guitar, and the moment I did it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm playing the blues. I had heard about the blues my whole life, and I had never thought about it. By now, if you're watching this video, you probably know this, but I'll tell you anyway. So for this, I'm on the E string, the open E, the low E, and I got my first finger on the second fret of the A string, and it goes like this. And I'm sort of palm muting over there with my palm, but if I didn't palm mute, so I'm leaving the open E, and I'm putting my third finger on the fourth fret of the A string, like that. So fourth. So the second and the fourth change on that A string, but the open E remains constant. So if you palm mute it and get that rockabilly rhythm, so that's the number one rockabilly rhythm thing that I suggest, is just that it's very low key, it's easy going, it lets the vocalist shine or it lets the lead singer shine. The more you do past that, the more it can start to interfere, but the rest of it's really cool too. It's good to mix it up. So get that swing and get going faster, it goes like this. And then if you just switch strings and you go from these two up to these two, the A and the D string. So again, you didn't do anything different. You're on the second fret of the D string to the fourth fret. And you can use your third finger or the pinky, either one. And you hit the open A. You get that palm muting and get that nice little swing rhythm. And you can let certain notes ring out. You may have heard when I played originally, I went. That little first hit on the A, I let chime out. That, so you sort of give it a rest just for a second. So that's the basics. After that, I showed you a little chord. I was just mixing up all the different varieties, so I went like that kind of deal. So Brian Setzer did that in, a ton of his solos, but in the 2 Hip Gotta Go lesson I talked about, it goes. So here's where you're doing a little bit of chord picking, you're sort of picking in chord, but overall it's still rhythm. You're mixing in some notes, but you're not doing a solo. So I've got an E major shape, like that, and I'm just going low, up to the high E, and then the second fret of the B string, and back up to the high E, and I'm hitting an open G, and hammering onto the first fret, and going right back to the high E string. Now, check out my other lesson on 2 Hip Gotta Go. I totally break that down like this. But the key is you're not fully like Travis picking. I mean, you could if you got a thumb pick or you want to use your thumb, but mostly check out my right hand. You sort of just figuring out when to hit some low notes, some high notes, and some mid notes. So just keep trying and practicing. Now on that 2 hip, it's on the G, and so again, it's transferable everywhere. So like that. So I'm hitting the low notes at the beginning, staying up high and mid notes right there, and then hitting the low again. So you want to be, hitting enough of that low note right there to keep to add to the bass guitar and not get too crazy up on the high stuff, so that again you don't interfere with a singer or a soloist who may be doing something crazy like doing whatever. But that's on G, and that's a good example. So you're in that F shape, but up 2 frets for G. And Brian Setzer, I think, plays it like this a lot, probably so he can do the get that note right there on the 3rd fret of the D string. But for the most part, I just play a straight up F and go like that. All right, so let's get back down to E for this lesson. All right, so I played that. And again, because it's transferable, instead of that G for the other song, because we're in E, we do this little turnaround up on the B. So again, everything we've just learned, I'm just now on the 7th fret right there. All right, and after that, something you can do for rhythm guitar, for a rockabilly song, is full-on chord, just patterns and picking, and a lot of fun. You just gotta, again, be careful that you're not overpowering the singer or the soloist who's on top of you. So I went like that. Great, this is my favorite chord in all of guitar. It is the 12th fret of the E and the B. You can do that with a 3rd finger, and then lay that 1st finger on the G, the D, and the A on the 11th fret, like that. So if I play it in reverse, so I hit the G twice, and then you hit the open, low E string. So it goes. Man, it's a great. Every time I hit that, I want to grab my Bigsby like that. So like that. So you get these chords. Just find a really cool rockabilly chord like that. Just strum it, pick it, find the right little rhythm. Really sweet right there. So at that part, I went. I found this one. This is a C7th, I believe, and for this one I'm playing the open E. Got my 7th fret of the D string, sorry, A string, 7th fret of the A string, and then 9th fret of the D string, 7th fret of the G string, and then 9th fret of the B string. And I don't think I was really hitting the E at all, so I was going. You don't even really need to hit the low E if you don't want to. Now I could have saved myself some trouble and gone, oops, sorry. So I'm just down there with, that's on the 4th fret of the E, 3rd fret of the B, and then 4th fret of the G. But I was trying to hit some lower notes just to, oops, my bad. So again, just another chord. So I think in the context of the song I went. Really cool. That brought me to the A chord. Now I did a straight A chord, but a great little idea when you're playing chord type of rhythm is to do little slide ins like this. I'm just playing a straight A, going down 1, and sliding it in 1. So I'm just doing the A chord on the 5th fret, down 1. Everything's exactly the same, just slide it in. So, and now another great thing to do is while you're in the A, just make a quick variation of the A. So what I did is I came up here and went like this. So that's a really cool deal right there. I'm on the 9th fret of the E string, to the 8th fret of the B string, to the 9th fret of the G string. hit those notes, and I went, grab that Bigsby again. I'm like attracted to it like a magnet. A magnet. I think I'm gonna invite it to dinner tonight. All right, so it goes like this. Again, don't go too crazy because you'll interfere with the soloist, as I'm talking about, or a singer. And then I went right back down to the E. And what's nice too is after playing so many little intricate parts like this, you may have heard that at that one moment I went, just strum it out, you know, give it a break. And that's the B right there. So I'm on the 2nd fret of the A string to the 1st fret of the D string, 2nd fret of the G string, and then the open B and E. Or you could put your pinky on the 2nd fret, like that, so go. But for the most part, I went. Just chilled out. I just chilled out because every once in a while you want to underplay, not overplay right there. And then the little turnaround thing goes like this. So again, that same B shape where we just were a second ago. You go up 1 fret and back down. So the notes are this. And those notes right there are the ones I just taught you a second ago when we were on the B. So. All right, so that ends part 1 of this whole lesson, which is, you know, the real standard bluesy kind of deal, and then some fun little light little picking plus those chord patterns right there. So now let's get into the next part. I'm gonna flip it to that part of my pickup right here for fun and go like this. That's some super cool stuff. Is a lot of different variations, and I'll talk through the frets in a second, but let me give you some of the variations. That was one of them. Another one is this. Like that. Another one is. Another one is this. All that cool stuff. I'll bring it back to this pickup just for the rest of the lesson. So we're on the open E string, 3rd fret, and hammer onto the 4th fret of that same string. Let me play the rhythm first, and then I'll break it down. So open E to the 3rd fret, hammering on the 4th, like I said. Now you're gonna go to the 2nd fret of the A string, to the 4th fret of the A string, to the 2nd fret of the D string, and then walk it back down to the 4th of the A, back down to the 2nd of the A, and you could go 4th of the E, back to the 2nd of the A, and then start it all over again with the open E. Or you could go like this. Do that 3rd and 4th again on that E string. So let me give you a couple options. Hear the difference right there? And you got all these different ways to do it again. So you can go. There. So for that one, I did the open E again to the 4th fret of the E. I sort of skipped that 3rd, 4th. So I went to the 2nd of the A string, to the 4th of the A string. And this time I put my pinky on the 5th. And walk it back down. 4th of the A, 2nd of the A, 4th of the B, 2nd of the A string, and back to the E. So you get all these cool little things. Then you go right to the next chord. When you go into the A chord, you do the exact same thing. You just move frets again. So So I'm not going to talk through all the different frets there because I don't want to bore you and get too repetitive, but it's the same stuff. Super quickly, open E, 4 of the D, of the A. That's the 2nd fret of the D, 4th fret of the D, and the 2nd fret of the G. So I sort of talk through them, but really quickly. So you got to figure out how to transition, leave a note, figure out a note to get right back to the E at the right time. Now, speaking about transferable, if you wanted to do it on the B when it does the turnaround, I'm on the 2nd fret of the A string to the 1st fret of the D string, and you go to the 4th fret of the D, 1st fret of the G, 4th fret of the G, and walk it back down. But, and I say transferable, meaning you're not using any open strings right there. You could also do it from here. You're on the 7th fret of the E, to the 6th fret of the A, to the 9th fret of the A, 6th fret of the D, and 9th fret of the D. Super cool. You can even slide that in from the 5th to the 6th on the A, like that. And when you do that, you can really play this anywhere. Again, if you're in a song that's in G, so like this. You're ready to go. So just practice, play around anywhere, and get to know it. So I did a lot of that throughout the rest of that solo, and then again, you can mix in chords, you can mix in other notes like that. The key is you want to underplay and don't overplay, don't overpower the other people, because that's the point of rhythm guitar. All right, let me know what you think in the comments as always, and check out the free jam track in a second. It's an excerpt of a longer jam track. You can get the full one at patreon.com/rockabillyjam. Now it's your turn. Take care and have a great one. See ya.